baby. Stop shaking. Good morning, folks. Give us a second here to get 5 by 5 loud and clear, and we'll get going. Field trip day, for anybody that doesn't know. Hashtag Beaver Rains, right? Slow chat. Oh my God, let me turn this on. Here we go. Let's see. We 5 by 5. Thank you, Conserve. So, before we get started, whoever just mentioned that, I was watching the chat as I was putting the microphone and stuff on. How dare you mention the car insurance people that call the house? They call us nonstop. Your car's extended warranty, excuse me. Eric King was the first one in the house. Congrats, brother. You're dedicated. Good morning, Laura. American Oma. Tasha Marley's in the house. Thank you for being here, moderators. Brian, 5 by 5. Oh, yeah. Bad Boy Channel. Two-wheeled prepper, Misty. Thank y'all for being here this morning. Apparently, according to the video yesterday, we have no Nancy Pelosi fans in the house. I have not seen so many thumbs up on a video since we started the whole YouTube thing. So this morning, we're going to roll the dice again. I hear that Stacey Abrams has baby fever. And if you want to be on that list, do not thumbs up the video. Just saying. All right. Again, we're going to go on a field trip. And look, I brought a visual aid, son. I don't have a steering wheel handy, you know what I mean? But I got this right here. Or as a crib, I can lean it back like this. We're going on a liberal field trip this morning, which is going to be interesting. I need y'all to sit two to a seat, no smoking, no drinking, unless you're 18 or older, 21 or older, whatever it is, and no rowdiness, okay? So our first field trip stop, we're stopping in Florida. Do we have any Patriots up in here from Florida? Oh, American Oma says, oh my God, I live in the same state as Abrams. She coming knocking. Yeah, the Magic School Bus. Somebody picked that up. Thank you, Wash. Florida. Apparently, the intel is linked down below for the first two stories here. Apparently, there's a school board member that took an elementary school on a field trip to an alternative lifestyle bar. Oh, yeah. She says she's so honored to be the one to chaperone this trip. The bar itself, they describe themselves online as a tropical oasis in the middle of an island city. Oh no, Man of War, you can smoke. It's allowed. This happened in Florida. Again, alternative sexual lifestyle bar. Middle of the day, they decide, hey, you know, we're going to take the kids to this place. She goes on in the article to say that they're trying to learn about their community. They want their elementary age kids to learn about their community, so why not? It's a bar, let's take them. And there the kids were coloring and they were learning all about the alternative lifestyle. They met the bar owner who described the bar as sassy in the article. That is disgusting, Bama Jen. Somebody mentioned this yesterday in the chat, and I couldn't believe it. You know, I'm like, nah, this is off of a fringe site. So I dug around, and yeah, it actually happened. And again, this is not just a liberal teacher that made a mistake here. This is a school board member of this particular community in Florida. It's an upscale community, so I guess they don't care. It didn't say in the article whether or not the parents had signed consent forms. We used to have to sign those when I was in school, but that was a long time ago. You know, back when we went to science museums and historical places or theme parks, maybe something to that degree. But no, now, you know, sexual alternative lifestyle bars would be the best way to put it. Even if you're okay with the alternative lifestyle, it's still a bar. There, in no world should this be okay to think that, hey, let's take an elementary school to a bar and introduce them to this. And then, of course, inside the bar, it's colorful everywhere. So elementary kids, they're drawn to this. You know, so now they have a positive outlook. That's exactly what happened there. So now, what is wrong with people? I know. So we're going to eat our bag breakfast really quickly, and we are going to get back on the bus, folks. Make sure your bus partner's with you. Everybody count heads or whatever. How many heads we got in here? 521. Thank y'all for being here. And we are going now to go to Louisville, Kentucky, to the great Hazard County. This intel again is also down below. Hazard County High School was having a homecoming dance / party. And pictures leaked out of this thing, a little bit of video as well, of students, high school students, in their underclothing, giving lap dances to faculty and staff. This is actually happening, folks. I would like to say this is make-believe and this is a parody, but Hillbilly Nation, I own it, Swamp Bottom. Thank you. Definitely a hillbilly. But again, I was just telling Luce on Patreon yesterday. I said it feels like I read the news for the day here in the United States, and I think, man, it can't get any worse than this. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And then it never fails. I wake up the next morning, I get the coffee, I do the crib walk, and boom, something stupider happens. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments, which is worse? Which is worse? High schoolers in their underclothing giving lap dances to teachers and administrators who were sitting on the front row in chairs waiting on this, or taking elementary kids to an alternative lifestyle bar. Got to know which one's worse because I can't pick. Yeah, it's absolutely grooming, Mary Beth. You're exactly right. They're all bad, I agree, but which one's worse? It's like flipping a coin. This is total lunacy. And God forbid if a parent goes to, the meetings that they have, the school board meetings, and voices their opinion. We now travel to the great state of California. How many patriots we got in California? So several speakers in the California community, they're getting up, they're speaking up against all of the liberal lunacy that's taking place in schools. Okay? These are religious leaders, these are parents, these are business owners of the community that, oh, by the way, are paying taxes to fund the school. And one of the school board members, she didn't realize her mic was hot, and she got caught on the mic saying, F you. But she, of course, she spelled it out. These people don't care what parents think anymore. And the reason I'm bringing this up this morning, folks, they are killing conservative folks. The idea of being conservative here in the United States is being killed through our children. That's how they're attacking us. Now, they're doing all kinds of other nonsense as well, but they're using our children to get rid of the idea that it's okay to be a conservative. Okay, and being conservative doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a Bible thumper or God-fearing. A lot are, but you can also be a constitutionalist. You can also be somebody who thinks it's ridiculous to take kids to an alternative lifestyle bar when they're in elementary school, or for your kids to be given lap dances to teachers and administrators in their underwear. Apparently now, going against this kind of nonsense paints you as a bigot or whatever. I don't know why this woman said F you. Who knows? I'm probably buffering at this point, right? Who knows? But the question is, what is going on? What is going on? Parents can't speak up against this again because the administrators, they don't care. They're cursing the parents and making fun of them, and then finally it gets caught on a microphone. If a parent gets very upset, they get put in handcuffs and dragged out of the meeting and put in the back of a squad car. What is going on in our country, folks, is they're attacking the children. And the only way that we stop this is we have to go to our children. We have to take that card off the table for liberals. We have to explain to our children the cold, hard truth of what is going on. Okay? And that's going to look different for everybody that's listening this morning. But we have to explain this to our children. And we have to tell them, look, it's okay to go to school and speak out against this nonsense. Even if you're the only one in the class, it's okay. Because somebody needs to start telling the truth. Absolutely, Gidget. Parents are being called domestic terrorists for speaking out against this. Grooming, as somebody said. So I can't wait to see the chat on that one. But those stories, folks, they blew my mind. I couldn't believe them. And it's happening all over the country. You know, you may live in a small town, you may think nothing shady's going on, but I guarantee you would be surprised to find out what is going on in public schools. Everything is going on in public schools apparently except for education, because most of the school systems, when I looked them up, especially Hazard County, Louisville, the test scores are not very high, would be the way to put it. So they're not doing a whole lot of teaching. They're doing a lot of indoctrinating, I would argue. Forrest, how you doing, brother? Matt, D Ladybug, Big Red, Salty Gummer, how you doing? So anyway, let's talk about 3 preps really quick, okay? Number 1 is a prep that most people, I would guarantee you, do not have as preppers, and that's a fire hydrant wrench. Okay, yeah, they're available. They're available online. I don't have a link down below or anything, but a fire hydrant wrench, depending on your location, can mean a lot of water quickly if it comes down to it. Number 2, vodka. Vodka. Single dad prepper. I took my son out in homeschool. I don't blame you a bit. That's a good alternative. Some people, where they're working, they really can't do it. But absolutely, that is a good way of going about it. Pipe wrench works. Thank you, Man of War. Number 2, vodka. You hear conflicting. I've heard 71%, 91% alcohol. The stronger the better. Okay, it has multiple uses, including barter, but many other things. You can sterilize and stuff with vodka. So have some vodka on hand. You can get it fairly cheap. Well, you used to be able to. I don't know about now. And finally, the 5-gallon bucket. The almighty 5-gallon bucket. The first thing I'm thinking of with 5-gallon bucket, of course, is Mylar bags going in. What would you use 5-gallon buckets for? They're a live crowd. Everclear works. Everclear kills anything. Everclear, if they ever discover life on another planet, they send a bottle of Everclear up there, there's no life anymore. That stuff will kill you, son. Moonshine's pretty strong too, Song of the South, the Blue Flame. Dana, liquor stores are limiting sales. I did not know that. Thank you. I knew there were a few items that they were running really low on. Potty for a 5-gallon bucket, that's awesome. And you can actually, if you have the variety that has the metal handle, you can actually pull those off, put a roll of toilet paper on it, stick it back on. But yeah, you can definitely potty in a 5-gallon bucket. It doesn't sound ideal, but hey, it's better than nothing. Put kitty litter in the bucket. Okay, Washbrain, didn't even think about that. To make a knockoff Berkey, that's excellent, Wendy. The Alaska Prepper, Rudy, he actually has a video on how to make a homemade Berkey, I think with 2 5-gallon buckets. You still need the hardware and the filters, and you need to know what you're doing with tools somewhat. But yeah, you can absolutely do that. Jennifer, Mame says. I don't know what I walked into, but what's up, Jennifer? All right, so the poll this morning, let's see here. For those that are asking after the live chat, we have a lot of people after the fact that say, where do I vote on the poll? I believe the poll is only here during the live stream. And the reason I mention it is so people after the fact can figure out where they line up on the poll. Are you a patriot trapped in a liberal area of America? The live chat, 43% say yes, 57% say no, 57%. If you are in a liberal area right now, you're definitely behind enemy lines as a conservative. And someone made the comment earlier, and it's a fair comment, in the chat right before we went live. They said, if you're a conservative in a liberal area, are you actually a prepper at this point? Because you should have relocated. And that's fair, but some people can't afford to. There's circumstances where some people can't relocate. So if you are in a liberal area, just when you go outside, put the pod person mask on, Pretend to be one of them and gather the intel and inbox it to me, okay? Thank you. Speaking of Kelly, if you're in the house, I tried to email you twice about the Beaverine stuff. Your inbox is full, just to let you know. So Aaron has sent over some intel this morning. Comes from the Washington Times. The Washington Times. And it's China's strategy for defeating opponents. China has released their grand strategy for defeating any opponent. And again, this was covered in the Washington Times. They begin with propaganda and misinformation. Does that sound familiar to anybody out there? Do we have any propaganda or misinformation right now online or in the news? The video is frozen. I'm not sure why. It's good on my end, but who knows? I am sorry if it's frozen. Thank you, Kelly. I got your email. I got to return the sender both times I tried to send it back. Beaverines. So yeah, propaganda and misinformation. And then their second point of attack would be to jam all military communications and any kind of computer infrastructure they can get into when it comes to the military. That's the way they want to sack and slow down a military. And they've said this outright. Now, they could be talking about Taiwan, but they said any opponent. So it could also be the United States if and when that time comes. And finally, they want to shut down completely via cyber attacks the civilian grid of the country that they're going to war with. So if you do believe China is a threat, understand that that is their route if they were to come after us, okay? They want to shut down the grid completely. I love the jacket, John. It is a camo hoodie, and thank you very much. All right, let me see here. Now that we've got all that out of the way, I need to apologize. The streams have been going way over. I normally shoot for 30 minutes or so. But what I try and do is I'll try and cover the topic at hand first, and then we just get into the chat and we chat. And I understand some people, they don't have 45 minutes or an hour to spend every day, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here for 10 minutes, if that's all you have. The thing is, I enjoy being here in the chat. It kind of mixes it up because I'm an introvert otherwise. So I love being here with the morning crowd, and sometimes I get carried away, and we have been going a little bit longer, and so I do apologize for that. I've had a couple people say, dude, you're going way too long with these. And so I get it. And you're totally right, but you can click off at any time, okay? You're not required to be here the whole time, I promise. Okay. Someone emailed and said, so right now, for those that don't know, Costco, Walmart, and Amazon are basically having a retail war. They're the only three that are not losing money by the millions, okay, because of the supply line. And they're jockeying for position, who's going to be number one once this whole thing is over, if it's ever over. And a lot of small businesses, a lot of your local things, they're getting ready to go under. And so someone emailed and said, hey, you know, this Christmas during the holidays, maybe think about supporting your local shops. This person, they do Christmas craft shows. And they're saying, you know, the local folks can really use a hand up right now. If you're going to spend the money anyway, maybe skip out on Walmart and try something local, farmers markets, things of that nature. And someone else emailed and said, look, son, tell the people over here at Prepper Nation, when you bug out, don't wear cologne or perfume. And that is something that I failed to mention last time. Don't put the Axe cologne on. The Axe spray, the cheaper stuff. I got John Wayne cologne. I'm probably not going to spray it on before I bug out because this can actually give you away. Swamp Bottom Living, it's all collapsing, John, slow motion. Yeah, it's going to be very, very slow. You know, this is the second Rome in many ways, and that took decades. So we may have that as well. CJ says, farmer market food tastes better. It absolutely does. Don't wear perfume, period. That stuff is toxic, Amelia. Well, I mean, I like my John Wayne cologne now. I'll be honest with you. But I only put it on certain times, you know what I mean? Miss Nation in there watching Dirty Dancing. I'm like, hey, shh, shh. But I don't wear it all the time. Okay, we're going to go with a scenario this morning. Again, the scenario, veteran preppers, but anybody, throw whatever you want to into the chat here. It's nighttime. You're driving, I don't know where you're driving, son. You're driving to grandma's house to get some banana bread or something. You're on a country road, all right? It's raining heavily outside. Your car breaks down. And you can't fix the car. That's the bad news. The good news is you have your bug out bag / get home bag with you. But you can only have 5 items. What are they going to be? And I'll tell y'all mine in a second. Well, now I'll go ahead and tell you mine. I'm thinking of a way to start a fire. I'm going to have 3 liters of water. I'm going to have some food with me, be it survival food, trail mix, whatever. I want a tarp and I want a wool blanket. I smell like burning leaves tomorrow. There you go, I guess. They ain't going to find you if you smell like burning leaves. Water filter. Okay, Sharon's going with something like a Sawyer Mini. A gun, Patrick. Patrick ain't playing. Poncho, water, food, fire starter, and knife. Truth seekers. I would have included a knife, except I'm always carrying one. Usually carrying one on my side. What no bang bang. You're in the middle of the woods. You know what I mean? The chances of you getting jumped or something in the middle of the woods, I'm not so worried about, well, bees aside, I'm not so worried about the other creatures out there. I see it, Bill B. It got flagged, but I saw it. Flashlight, knife, sidearm, tarp, and water. Larry. Rock. Gun and knife is everyday carry. Yeah, for a lot of people it is. And we're talking about everyday carry over on Saturday night, actually. Paracord for the tarp, Tony. You can make it work without paracord. Paracord makes it much, much easier. I have enough on my keychain that I can probably string up a tarp. It wouldn't look good, but it would work, overnight. Cast iron cooking, like the regular woods or Blair Witch Woods. Probably the regular woods. Probably, no witch or whatever went down on Blair Witch. I ain't watched that since the 90s, to be honest. But yeah, no video camera, no crying with the toboggan pulled down or whatever, the Tifa beanie. They're coming. I see something out in the woods. Hey, y'all, I'm late. Tilting rear. How dare you? I'm just messing. Thank you for being here. And also, I don't know if Paul's in the house, but he got himself a Mayberry mug as well. I noticed that in the chat yesterday. No phones, no American Omen, no phone service. You can't call the tow truck. You can't call your cousin and come pick you up. You just have to make it for one night. Baling twine is far cheaper than 550 cord, and you don't have to melt the ends constantly. Robert, that's a good suggestion there. Song of the South. Wait a minute. Okay, so the irony here is Song of the South is talking about Sasquatch, and the comment right behind him is Arkansas Living. Is this coincidence? I think not. How you doing, brother? Y'all talking about stuff to grab on top of everyday carry. Yeah, this would be if you had a bag in your vehicle that's broken down, middle of the night, it's raining, but you only have 5 items in the bag, Arkansas. 5. I know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Help you out there. Okay, there you go. Independent Marine. My truck has camper shell. Just crawl in the back. Well, you've already got your shelter then. He's bringing, cigars and whiskey. He can get rid of 2 of those right off the top. Stay in the car where it's dry. Carter's Harvest. That's a good tip as well. My guns and ammo. Everybody's going hunting. Hip is like guns and ammo. That's all I need. Son, I go out here and let me get my toes out. Arkansas living, you're crazy, man. Mame's Legacy, LOL, I drive a minivan. Ma'am, I've seen your property and your new home, and I thought you were pushing like a Jaguar or something. I ain't gonna lie. Thought you was deep pockets over there. Just stay in the truck, Keith Knoll. Water. Chad, an IFAC is more valuable than a gun. What are y'all thoughts on that? Gun or IFAC? What do you want? You want the medical or you want the gun? I'll plug in my electric blanket and go to sleep in the car until morning. OFC Nation. He's just like, man, I'm getting some sleep in. I ain't worried about it. Be driving a pickup, Mames. The Minted Maiden. I'd stay in the car. Gun is EDC. Water, food, wool blanket. The Minted Maiden would have a garden up, springing up by the next morning. She'd be able to eat in one day. Tasha, I'm in West Virginia, West by God, Virginia, as I've heard it called. Everyone has a gun. Most people in West Virginia that I've ever met from there anyway, AKA God's country, as I've heard it called too. It's very much like Texas in that everybody's carrying something. 1,000 in chat. My Water World, thank you for letting me know. Let me sit up straight now. You know what I mean? You ever worked at a job and like the big boss comes through and all of a sudden you're on your best behavior? I feel that way every time somebody says, we got 1,000 in chat. Bent out of shape. Well, I'm not leaving the gun in the car. No, carry it with you. So what have you folks seen this morning? Again, I got up, I did the coffee, I did the crib walk. I wrote the stuff down that is just pathetic, honestly, when it comes to the school systems. But I have not seen any news this morning other than the fact that the spending bill, Joe's spending bill, still hasn't passed. Thank God. They don't have the votes, he said. The Texas border. You mean there's a border down there, Wash? There's a border down in Texas? Because people just been coming through freely. It's completely overwhelmed. There's last I heard anyway, there's a caravan with thousands of illegals coming. They're coming to Texas, and Abbott is trying to prepare for it. He's putting vehicles side by side and threatening to call up the National Guard. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, what border? Truth Seeker says, what border? Is there a border in Texas? If so, somebody needs to tell Joe. I think Kamala's actually supposed to be down there every so often. I don't know where she's at right now. Nobody knows. Where's Kamala? Does anybody know? Nicole says, nothing Joe proposes should ever pass. Joe should propose something and Congress should just immediately do the opposite. Every single time. I know they're not going to, but that's the only way to save it at this point. OFC Nation says, I'm thinking about going to Mexico, sneaking across the border so I can get $450,000. Yeah, go mingle in with them, man. You know, grab you a taco or something and go down there, mingle with them, and then come back across the border and say, thank you. Where's my money? Son, can you fly me to a hotel so I can get a week off here? Oh, man, no, I did not. Reckless Reese. Did you hear about Jill asking about the 25th Amendment for Kamala? I did not. First I've heard of that. That's, nah. Anybody else heard about that? Rock Broadway, 1,000 in chat and only 559 thumbs up. We have a lot of fans of Stacey Abrams in here, apparently. Brother, I'm with you on that. I don't know what the deal is. That would make sense. Independent Marine. I need to mention that as well. We talk about it on Saturday, but Independent Marine says, I think Harris is in Norfolk, Virginia, campaigning. Today. They're campaigning. On Tuesday, they have the governor's election. You know, who's gonna be running the state. And the Democrat, McAuliffe, he has been up by 20-ish points the entire time. In these past few months, he's actually dropped. And, wow, I almost called him Northam. Youngkin, the Republican that's running, is now up. I saw last night he is up by 8 points, according to the latest poll. And the Democrats are panicking. Like, they've been flying. They're treating it like a presidential election. They've flown in Barack Obama. The Clintons have money funneling in. Biden's been there. Now Harris. They're trying everything they can to keep Virginia blue, apparently. Because if it turns red, they're buffering up Virginia. Buttering up. Man, I'm telling you. Will it be a fair election? Who knows? But keep your eye on it, because what we see in Virginia next week will likely be what we see in the next presidential election, I think, with as many heavy hitters flying in. Trump's talking about flying in for the Republican candidate. So we'll see. We'll see if they set up roadblocks to try and keep Dominion out, or if they let them in, whatever the case may be. We've talked about it. Anybody in this chat right now could probably run the state of Virginia better than Northam. Truth seekers, no such thing as a fair election. It's all an illusion. And I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm saying for the folks that do believe in that system, to keep an eye on it. We'll see which way, and again, we talked about it Saturday, which way the pendulum swings. Sometimes you get liberal in a country to the point where people are just fed up and they swing it the other way, and they go extreme to the right and back and forth. And other times, countries just collapse, or they go full-on communist, Cherish, does anyone really trust any elections? I don't. But I think we're going to be able to look and see what happens in the election to figure out what we can expect in 2024, assuming we're still here and we're not in the gulag. Uh-oh, somebody's trying to make some easy money here. Nathan says, the Dem is going to win. Anyone want to bet on it? He's willing to bet. He's going to bet money. He ain't betting freedom seeds or anything like that, but money. Candace Owens 2024, I would vote for that lady. Man of War. Marcy, I don't trust the elections, but I'm voting anyway. That seems to be most of the people that I talk to. Nobody really trusts the elections anymore, but they don't want to sit at home and just, in the slight chance that it would be a fair election, they don't want to see liberals just completely take over and just start running people down, even though I would argue that's what's going on now in the school systems. Defund, then purge. Fiat money, bet the most worthless thing. It's getting there. It's pretty worthless right now at the gas pumps. Oh, let's see here. Alexander, I think I'm saying that right. John, do you have an underground bunker? No. However, if you would like to fund one, I'll take it. I'd rather have a bunch of land right now, but no, I do not have an underground bunker. I mean, they're pretty sweet. I watch the videos and things, and I've talked a couple times with Ron over at Atlas. They make great bunkers, but man, they're expensive, Most vote anyway. It makes the steal more obvious. Aqua Drop. That is the thing. Like, they say that McAuliffe up in Virginia, he's already hired an attorney because he already anticipates he's going to lose the vote. Because again, he's lost 28, almost 30 points in the polls over the last couple of months. So even the Democrats are turning on him at this point. But if he still somehow wins the election, I mean, it's one of those things for people that want to follow it with a microscope. Because I guarantee you, if he wins, something shady's going on at this point. Cherish, what will it take to kickstart the second Civil War? Door-to-door mandates would be one, I think, and them trying to abolish the Second Amendment entirely, that would be another. Them shelving the Constitution and saying we're going to rewrite a more politically correct constitution, that would also, I think, kickstart a civil war. FJB. Oh man, come and take it. Well, Barracks Special. That's the fear. At some point, they may get there. They may get brave enough to try and come take it. You know what I mean? They'll pass some kind of nonsense legislation to where now you're an outlaw if you have it, and then they'll try and come and take it because they think they're legally in the right on this. Good morning, Weekend RVing. The election, Paul, the election is more like America's Got No Talent. Yeah, we touched on this yesterday. Is this really all that we have to choose from? Can better candidates not stand up? Arkansas living, can you not just run for president? You would have so many votes here just in the prepping community. You would get on the ticket. 1776, David Workman. That is the other option. Okay, so some people say civil war. Some people say it's going to take a revolution. I don't know. I wish I did. I wish I knew exactly what was coming because it would make it much easier to prep. But I do think some sort of conflict is the only way out of this at this point. States could leave, form their own country, but we know that D.C., we know whoever is in D.C. at the time, they're not going to allow that to happen. They're not going to let half of their land, especially with a huge food shortage, grand solar minimum style, they're not going to let all that land go. They're not going to let tax revenue go and stuff like that. So it would lead to a war. Can we order a pizza for us? Buddy, you can order 2 of them if you want to. Be my guest. All they have to do is declare martial law. Exactly, Roger. We talked last week, I think, about martial law a little bit. I don't think it would be nationwide because I don't think they have enough stormtroopers to enforce it nationwide. So martial law, if that were to happen, it would, I think it would be focused on high population densities, larger cities and things. They do have the manpower to lock down larger cities. Let's see. Prepper Nation coffee. I'm drinking some Aldi coffee this morning. That's what's in here. And a little bit of cream. Sometimes here at the Nation we ride dirty and that just means no cream. We're going with black coffee. But yeah, I got a little cream in there this morning. Now I'm hungry, Vivian. I am too. I don't necessarily want pizza, but I need something. I need something now. Let's see here. Cogito, yes it is. Martial law would only be bigger cities, which is weird because they are liberal and they'll bend over and take it. Well, that's one of the reasons they would target. You're absolutely right. It is legal. The legislation's on the book already. They would target larger cities because they would, number one, they would be able to control more people and lock it down. And number two, like you said, most of them would just be willing to take it and do whatever. Do whatever Joe tells them to do. But then when you get out into rural America, there's a lot more land that you have to cover, and you can't spread the troops around, if you will, because they get too thin, and then you're going to get a lot of resistance from people in rural America, and many of them are strapped up, and they're just not going to deal with it. Pumpkin spice causes stupidity. Come on, Wizard. Man, come on. I like pumpkin spice stuff. They get ridiculous with it. I've seen cereals and stuff. Not too much of a fan of that, but, a few things. I've even seen the ice cream. I don't know about that one, but I like the coffee. Jennifer Cruz. Okay, thank you, Joni, for being here this morning. Jennifer Cruz. I want to move to Florida, but I feel like if I do, DeSantis' term will be up, and they'll end up with the Democrat. Oh, man. Some people can't afford to move. Other people, that's a legitimate fear. What if you move and 5 years from now it's totally different and you've spent all of your money relocating? Chad knows what's up. Blue helmets equal free gear. Absolutely. Especially, we were talking yesterday, especially if they decide to reach down and find some manhood in them britches and go into Texas. You know, it's one thing to threaten Abbott and all this stuff in international news, by the way, but it's another thing to go into Texas guns a-blazing, because I don't think they're going to win that. Not only are the people in Texas not going to put up with it, but there are a few countries, larger countries, Russia being the main one, that is not a fan of the UN. And at that point, if they were to go into Texas, folks, Texas can appeal to the international community and say, help us. Our own government won't help us. And then you're going to have some countries sending aid and weapons and stuff. They don't want that fight in Texas. They really don't. No man. Why is Google flagging this? That's hilarious. Robert, no manhood in woke sugar britches. And I'm sorry, sometimes y'all get flagged, and again, it's not the moderators. Google flags certain words or phrases, and then the moderators have to go in and unflag them. Can no longer count on the government, Justin. It's been that way for a while. People that aren't prepping, the sheeple or the zombies or whatever you want to call them, their biggest problem, I think, is they count on the government for a lot of things they shouldn't count on the government for, and they really do believe, hey, Joe's going to bail us out. They're still riding with Biden, you know what I mean? And they trust big government to take care of things that, again, they should be taken care of. They're sitting around waiting on the next stimulus check. Because by the time the next stimulus check comes, groceries will be everywhere and everything will be back to a normal price, and the gas prices will be back down to normal. It's just not the way it works. You know, sending out free money is not going to help this problem. It's only making it worse. Glenn says they talk a lot of crap to the folks in Texas, but they never show up. Everybody talks crap on Texas, man. Everybody on the left. What was it? Last year, what were they called again? Grandmaster something was running the place. The NFAC, I think. The people that shot themselves in the foot when they were protesting. They said they wanted a state of their own. It was owed to them, and they wanted Texas. And they never showed up. I think Heavy Duty Country did a huge video on that. He's like, come on, if you want Texas, come and take it. And yeah, thank you, Grandmaster J, Matt. So they said, we're just going to go in and take Texas. And Texas is sitting around like, well, come and get it. Come and take Texas. And now it's the UN. The UN is considering, hey, we might go in again to stop y'all from burning so much gas and fossil fuels. You're killing the earth. No, don't worry about all of these other countries doing it. It's Texas's fault now. It's all being thrown on Texas. And which time, yeah, Lynn. And on the flip side, Texas is always talking about leaving the union. And every time they do, I'm like, please do, because other states would follow you. But they never leave. I don't understand. Cogito, exactly. That is the problem. Everyone thinks we owe them something. They don't only think you owe it to them, they demand that you pay it to them. They want it. They're sitting around waiting for you to send this stuff to them. You're going to take care of them. And that's the thing with prepping. We're taking care of our own business. We realize, hey, the government ain't going to step in and prep this stuff for us. The government can't walk a straight line without eating ice cream and stumbling around. We know this. The zombies don't. And when it comes push to shove, you know, and they start running out of necessary things, they're going to blame us. They're going to blame us because we've spent time and we've stocked up. And we know that. Misty, they don't want Texas. They would have to deal with all of the illegal foot traffic. Oh, they'd let them in, but they would just let them pass on through. They wouldn't let them stay in Texas. They would pass them off to Arizona or whoever would take them, New Mexico. They don't want them where they're at, you know. These people, they don't want to build walls on the border, but they're okay with building walls around their own mansions, right? They're not okay with the Second Amendment and people owning firearms for protection, and yet they're surrounded by people that have firearms who are there to protect them. It's just double standards all the way around. Yeah, absolutely. Man of War says being independent makes you a target. Yeah. And they're using legislation right now to target people. You can't catch rainwater in certain areas. You can't convert to solar in certain areas without paying a tax to the electric company. Figure that one out. That should be illegal. You can't, in certain areas, have a tiny home, or it's so heavily regulated that it prices most people out of wanting to switch over to a tiny home. Texas forever, Mame says. She riding around in her minivan. Texas forever. Texas forever. Tilton Rear. Patriots in the U.S. will not let it happen, I think is what you're trying to say. The problem is, okay, and I'm gonna be blunt here, okay? Patriots, we're not getting any younger. Okay, we're getting older, folks. We are. And liberals have figured this out. Well, the Patriots are only going to be here for so long. We don't necessarily have to deal with the Patriots hands on. What we can do is we can attack their children. We can attack the minds of their children. We can change the values of the children. And so when the children grow up to replace the Patriots, now you have the utopia that these people want. And I'm telling you, the only way to stop them from taking this country, peacefully at least, is to go to our children and to tell them the truth. And to tell them not to be afraid to speak the truth. Don't worry about the cancel culture. Don't worry about any repercussions you might get at school. If it's the truth and you believe it, instill that into your children, okay? Now, I'm not talking, don't instill hate or racism or anything like that. Nothing like that. But tell them the truth, okay? Explain to them that, and I believe this is the truth, people that are in powerful positions in this country, be it the music industry, the film industry, Congress and Senate, apparently schools, etc., they are pedos. And I know I'm going to get flagged for saying it, but by God, it's the truth. And they are coming after our kids in a really bad way. And we need to find a way to explain this to our kids and explain this is not okay. This is not normal, okay? Oh, the wizard. Can a moderator please flag that, screenshot it or something? The wizard. Message deleted by Google moderator. Welcome, Google. Welcome to the chat. Huge fans, to be honest. We do not teach any sort of extremism in here, Google. There's no hate. There's no racism. We love everybody. We are welcoming to everybody. We welcome every opinion on this channel. However, we're not afraid to speak the truth. So welcome to the party. Let's see here. Welcome, son. Sin City Jim says, welcome, son. Welcome to the field trip. Even though we arrived back at our school about 30 minutes ago. Yeah, that's a very good point. LT Curve says, you can do all of the right things in raising your children, but when they become of age, they might turn away from the truth. At that point, as a parent, you've done your job. You've done the best that you can do. You teach them right from wrong. You teach them morals and ethics based on what you believe. And then you send them out into the world. And you hope they make the right decisions. They're not always going to make the right decisions, folks. We all know this. I didn't make all the right decisions when I was growing up. You know, again, I was a liberal for 10 years? Until I figured out how that worked. And I'm like, no, wait a minute now. Yes, WM, some of that is going on all of a sudden. Thank you very much. I'm going to post that later, assuming we still have a platform. For those that are interested, we have a backup channel, just in case, and that link is down below. The Sleepy Rider. It's the first link down below this video. Google, smash that thumbs up. Yeah. Google, if you're in here, help a brother out. Hit that thumbs up, please. We need him. Nobody else seems to want to hit the thumbs up. Aaron is a God-fearing Christian, and nobody's ever going to destroy that. Absolutely. Believe whatever you want to believe when it comes to religion, but if you're a God-fearing Christian, don't be afraid to tell people. And don't be afraid to tell your kids that it's okay to tell people, okay? Jennifer Crew. Homeschool, Sven. Absolutely, except some people do not have that option for whatever reason, okay? Homeschooling is probably, I would argue, the best option. But if you're a single parent, you're probably working insane hours to make the bills work, okay? And it may not be an option. You may not be able to afford. Right now, childcare is through the roof. And they're complaining because they don't have enough employees. So you would have to pay a ton of money back out for childcare, and you would have to worry about if your children are being taken care of properly. And this is opinion, okay? Salty Gummer says voting doesn't matter, and I'm not going to totally disagree with that, Salty Gummer, but we have to do something. You know, I would rather go and vote and hope than sit around and just be run over. You know, and it may be, you may be right. We may just be getting run over either way. But you got to do something, right? John, they are always watching. He says they are watching. He's got the eyes on there looking like Bubbles off of Trailer Park Boys. They're always watching, but they're not usually in here with us. Is the mean man in the room right now? I don't know. I'll never stop voting. Laura, that is one of the theories. Voter suppression, one of the theories that's floating around out there is they want you to feel like your vote doesn't matter, so you sit your butt at home, okay? Bubbles. I'm glad somebody got that, Matt. You know, that's another reason we have slow chat. Sometimes people will complain, don't put slow chat on. I want to be able to talk when I want to talk. And I'm like, look, son, if the slow chat's not on, when I watch the replay, my glasses would be like this thick because I can't keep up. Zombie Prepper, have a great day. I appreciate you being here. I need to go, actually. But folks, again, we ran over. Sorry about that. But tomorrow night, today's Friday, correct? Yeah, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be live in chat. We're going to have Shotgun Saturday Night. We're going to be talking about prepper terms and also how to identify the Tifa crowd that's coming over from Patreon. So I appreciate everybody being here this morning. Again, if you're interested in our backup channel, just in case, because I have no idea what I'm walking into after this video ends. The backup channel, the link is down below. It's called The Sleepy Writer. It is a writing podcast, but it doubles as a backup channel here at Prepper Nation. All right, y'all. Take care, and God bless.